back to Parenting Hacks with Dr. Yanina. And as you know, this is a show in which I share 1 or 2 hacks or tips to help you have stronger relationships with your preteen or teen. And I also talk about issues related to raising them in a healthier way. And I am so excited today because, as you might not know, or you might know, this is a 2-video series in which I have Johanna as my guest, and we are talking about body image. And that is such an important topic among preteens and teens. So if you have not done so yet, if you have not checked out the first part of this 2-video series, I invite you to go back to the previous episode and check out the 2 amazing tips that Johanna has shared with us, and you don't want to miss those. But if you did it and you're ready for today's 2 new topics or 2 new tips, I am so glad you're here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Johanna, but before I do that, I want to say hi. How are you?
Hi, Yanina. I'm doing great today. Thank you.
And you are back, and I'm so glad you're back.
I'm back. That's right. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Yanina. She is a recent graduate, and she earned her master's degree in social work from the University of Iowa. And she is newly employed as a clinical therapist at New Site in Des Moines, Iowa. She has a 15-year-old daughter, so she is a mom of a teenager, so she knows what she's talking about. So she's been married for 20 years, and one of the things that she loves is to talk about her own personal body image and issues related to body image, and she wants all boys and girls, teenagers, men, women, everyone to appreciate and respect their bodies. And that's why we are here, because we're talking about body image. And you want to tell us a little bit, just you covered that in a previous video, but just briefly tell us why you're so passionate about body image. What is it about body image that makes you like, I need to share this with as many people as possible, especially parents of preteens and teens?
Yeah, I spent way too many years, way too much time obsessing over my body and what I looked like and not appreciating what my body does for me. And I don't want to spend one more day not loving myself. And I don't want teens to ever feel like they're not good enough because they don't have the right body. And I just, as a mom, want to express how important it is for me to send the right messages to my daughter, because I don't ever want her to spend one single second of her life doubting how wonderful she is as a person.
Right. And it's the value of teaching them to see themselves from the inside out, you know. And sometimes what happens is that when they're so focused on their body image, they just paralyze, and they don't see within. They don't see how much potential they have and how much they can do, and the potential that they have to make a huge difference just because they're stuck with what they see in the exterior. And that's something that you're very passionate about, to teach kids and moms not to let their kids, you know, become paralyzed that way, because there's so much to look forward to that goes beyond the way they look. And that's what we're going to be covering today. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And you have 2 amazing tips for moms of preteens and teens. So take it away.
And the first one I'd like to talk about today is creating a positive body image culture for your children. Okay. So what is we previously talked about how you talk about yourself in front of your kids, but importantly, in your household, we can kind of control what happens in our house. Mm-hmm. And so teach your kids about body diversity. You know, we talked about, and I hope everyone talks about, as a social worker, about racial diversity and other issues in society, but what about body diversity? We're all different. Every single person's body is going to be different. And what are the strengths of those differences? And how do we see those differences? There's not one single perfect body. As we're sold in the media, we like to believe that there's one body. There's not one body. We're all different. So advocate for positive body talk. Teach your kids by showing them that you talk positive about your body. Please avoid using the words thin, skinny, fat, comparing yourself to others. When how do you speak about other people and their bodies? Do we teach our kids that there's more value than just physical appearance? Mm-hmm. We need to be teaching our kids, as you stated earlier, that the value is what they bring to the table from their entire person, not just what they look like.
Yeah, yeah, that's what is going to make a difference. Just because you look, and there's nothing wrong about looking pretty or looking skinny or looking overweight or fat or whatever. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong. We're not demonizing the skinnier figure.
No.
That's not the point. The point is that what is it within you that you are going to bring to the table, like you said, that is going to make a difference. Well, looking good is going to make a difference if you go into the modeling um, like routes, probably, right? But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about them valuing themselves based on who they really are versus of how they look like. If this is what I'm, that's what I'm getting from what you're saying.
Yeah, as a whole person, how do we see ourselves in the entirety of being a human being?
Mm-hmm.
And we aren't going to set labels. This is what I'm speaking to is really obsessive or extreme.
Right.
Basically what people are hearing is oftentimes in society, we're grouping people into a whole thing. We're generalizing. Mm-hmm. So I just want people to be objective about how they see themselves and others and really just be curious about that.
Right, right. Love it. Love it. That's definitely true. And it's a healthier approach. It's a healthier way of seeing other people and appreciating other people based on who they really are versus on how they look like, right? That's
exactly. Right. Yes.
Right. So let's dive into your second tip, which will be technically number 4, since this is a 2-video series. So yeah, take it away.
So the last tip that I have is help your teens find resources that support body positivity. Mm-hmm. So first of all, after our other tips, hopefully we've had the conversation with our kids.
Right.
How do you feel about yourself? Yeah. How do you feel about yourself? Do you love your body? How do you see other things in the media? And really, if we can give them resources to help them see it differently, that's what's going to be important. What do they need in terms of support? If they are struggling, how can I help you as a mom? I love you. I want this to be easier for you. I see you're struggling. I can see that sometimes you don't see yourself in a positive way. What can I do as a mom to help you make that different? And then also the last thing is, how can you help them have a healthy relationship with food and activity? Yes. I think that, when we as moms go into extreme thinking or dieting, it can send a message to our kids that we aren't good enough. And I think it's really important just to have balance in our life. How can we help create in our kids that balance so that they don't have the black and white thinking, the really extreme thinking about I'm either good or I'm bad in terms of their relationship with food. So I think that it's just really important for kids to know that there's support out there and they have the help. They can get the help that they need to make it different.
Right, right. Yeah, and it's important that we work as moms, we work with ourselves first in order for us to be able to work with our children. Because if we're sending mixed messages, if we're telling them that, that it's important that you have a healthier body image, but we don't have a healthier body image, then that can be confusing for our kids because we're saying something and doing something else. So what are your thoughts on that? And you brought it up, and I know we talked about it in a previous episode, but just like a little nugget here, if you can share about the value of being mindful about it ourselves so we can be a better model for our kids.
Yeah, I would just like to speak to the fact that I have so much compassion for people who are struggling. It's a daily intention. Yeah. Nothing happens overnight. If we've spent years having negative body image issues, we're not going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden just love ourselves. Right. But just like we're trying to help our kids, how can we help ourselves? And I kind of say it's like flexing a muscle, and each time you do it, it gets a little bit easier and you get a little bit stronger. And so I've spent years trying to cultivate my own healthy body image, and that just naturally translates to my daughter. And so I just would like to speak to the fact that it's really daily work that then creates the long-term feeling of being happy with yourself, loving yourself, appreciating your body, respecting what your body does for you.
So it's a journey.
It is a journey.
Results overnight. You know?
Yeah, and we're not, some days if we wake up and we aren't feeling so great about ourselves, give yourself compassion and grace, and then try to make that different. And that's okay. We're not perfect people. We're moms, but we're not perfect.
Yeah. I wish we can say that, but we're not. We're not perfect at all. And that's something that I keep bringing up, that, you know, we all make mistakes. The beauty about it is what you do with that. Do you see it as a learning experience, or you see it as a failure? And what we're encouraging and motivating you today is to see it as a learning experience and give yourself some compassion and love, and try again to never ever give up, because this is a very important topic. This is a serious issue that is affecting our youth, and you know, it comes to the point, if we try to ignore it, it's going to get worse. Don't you think? It's not going to go away if we ignore it.
It's not going to go away. And unfortunately, in the society that we live on, where more and more focus is being spent by advertisers on the perfect body, it's time for us to take that back and say, I'm not buying it. Right. No, I'm not buying it. I want to see myself in a different way for what my body can do, even if it doesn't fit what you say is this perfect body.
Right. I love it. I love it. So to wrap it up, the 2 tips were: create a positive body image culture for your children. And the second one was to help your teens find resources that support body positivity. Love it. Oh my goodness. Has been amazing. Thank you so much for being.
Yeah, I guess lastly, I'd like to say just as much effort can be put into finding social media sites that depict the perfect body. There are just as many resources out there that can support body positivity. So I encourage people to really look on the World Wide Web and find those things that really support what they feel about what they want to cultivate for their kids.
And I have to add it, as you're saying that, sharing that if your child or you need professional mental health support, don't feel bad or embarrassed about it. Reach out, seek professional mental health. And you know, there is, and this will be another topic on its own, but there's this stigma around mental health support that is so false. And if this is something that you're like, you know what, I'm not sure how to go about it, I need professional mental health support rather, please do it. Seek for support and pursue that path if you need it. Of course, you know, we are gonna let you know that. So thank you, Johanna, so much for being with me today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your passion, and your experience in this topic. And I am so grateful to you, and I'm sure that your tips will be super helpful to moms out there that their children and themselves are facing these type of issues. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to have you in a future episode again.
Thanks for having me, Yanina. This was fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next episode. Until then, have a wonderful week.